Hey guys, JH, welcome to Practice Tee. It's a beautiful day today. Very hot, but a beautiful, beautiful day. Okay, a couple of things today. Just a little bit of Mow Norman to start with. It's amazing, since I started the Mow Norman resurgence last year with all my guys in my core group, which is a couple of hundred guys that I teach all over the place. They've just been at me for more Mow stuff. So guys, just a few more snippets today. What was interesting, of course, we saw Mow in Mow's general golf swing. We always saw this in the general golf swing. Feet down and the lateral slide. And that's how we saw him. Like he never came to prominence till later in life, till he was well over 60, and that's when we saw the videos of him. I mean, his original swing when he was young, of course, was a long golf swing when he was young and lithe and, and much thinner. But as he got, bigger, more solid, and lost his flexibility, the swing evolved to a smaller swing. But even with the long swing that he had, he still had this. Still had the feet down, still faced the ball, and still had the single axis. But later in life, and very late in life, he made a confession to me, and he said that if he had his time over again, he wouldn't have done this as much. He was following the teachings of Manuel de la Torre. And of course, Manuel very much, just check that audio, guys. Manuel very much goes along the lines of you have to have rotation. And Mow, right up until the very end, he'd actually increased the rotation of his golf swing. And of course, some of the stuff and he said to me, if I was starting out again, John, that I would have more rotation. I'd have more of that, try and feel that I was still stable, but have more rotation. Because he said he picked, even when he was older, before he had his heart attack, he said, I picked up like 25 yards with the driver, which is huge. So guys, when I was talking about the hybrid swing of Mow's, for the guys that don't have the flexibility to keep the feet down like that, don't worry about it. Try and just apply the general principles that we see in the Mow Norman golf swing. But let yourself rotate a little bit. If it was good enough for Mow to want to do that, it's certainly good enough for us. So by that I'm saying this, guys. And I've always had a hybrid type golf swing. As you know, I mean, I've never adhered to the total principle and doctrines of Mow's golf swing. I've always had a bit of rotation. And you certainly get more power, there's no question. So let yourself rotate a little bit, but still try and maintain the principle and the integrity of the principle. And that is, we want to face the ball as long as we can and slide laterally. But we can slide laterally and we can turn a little bit. And guys, my swing is never like Mow's anyway. We know that. I mean, nobody's is. Greg Laverne's looks a bit, well, probably looks, 75% of Mow's. But nobody else I've ever seen, because we're not Mow. So you can have a variation to it, I think. Okay, so this is my variation. Now I'm letting the hips turn a little bit like that, rather than keeping that lead knee in that flexed position. Now it certainly gives me more power. I'm a half, 3/4 of a club longer with the irons for sure, and probably 10 or 15 yards with the driver with that swing. So I don't think, and frankly, when I see most of the people that try and do the Mow Norman golf swing, they look too mechanical. You really, the one thing we saw with Mow, guys, was he was beautifully flowing almost majestically. Everybody, thinks it was this type of swing. It was just beautiful flow. Okay, he was a little bit hunched there at address, but that's only because he wanted the full extension of the arms. Just hit a couple this way. There's a bit of rotation in there. The legs are still there and still a little bit of bend. But I'm letting this go here, guys, as I'm keeping my foot down and keeping my knees bent. And that just puts a little bit of drag on the golf club. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. And that's such good contact. Whew. Self-praise is no recommendation, JH, but look, when you hit a good shot, savour it. Give yourself a pat on the back. We all need encouragement. Okay? So what are we saying, guys? I'm going here, but I'm getting a little bit of this. Okay, we'll really crank this one. I had those AP2 irons the other day. They were great. I took them on the course, played with them. But I'm so used to the stronger lofts on golf clubs these days and the elastic face, I was losing a club with those irons. Very straight. So I've got the AP1s now. They've given me these to try, and they feel like they've got a little bit, well, they feel like they've got a lot more zip and a lighter shaft. It's only a 90 shaft in this. All right, we'll really try and put a good swing on this. Oh, that was really well hit. Okay, I've got this, but I've got this, guys. Pity I can't hit some shots this way, because I could show you that. But I'm actually trying to rotate out with my hip but keep my feet down, if you can understand that. So that's something you can do. Because I see a lot of people, and when they're trying to do it, they just tend to look a bit too much like that. And there's no arm speed, and there's no drag on the golf club because the hips are not pulling. They're just not pulling. See, Mo had magnificent lag because he was here. But we don't get that much lag, so I think we've got to get it a little bit more by cranking up the hips a little. That's good. I actually feel that going bang like that. But this foot's still on the ground. And nothing wrong with that. When I first met the guys from Natural Golf, way back, a few of their instructors did that. Like big tall Ken Ellsworth, he did that. And the other guy, Scott Hazeldine, did that to a degree. So we'll really try and put a good swing on this. That's as good as old JH can hit it, I'll tell you. These are good clubs, guys. There's so much more zip. For an old guy like me, you need the zip. The other one was great, but I don't have the speed to compress the ball enough these days to have those pure tour type clubs. They were so accurate, beautiful. But I'm not a dynamic goal person, even though those new AMTs are different. I like the lighter shafts. All right. So we're just going. I'll really get this hip really going. Now the main thing is that as you do that the hands are very passive, so that when we turn it'll actually pull on the hands. It's very hot here at the moment and my hands are sweating and I'm having difficulty hanging on the club, so I'm hanging on a bit, so there's basically not very much lag. clamp that. Sorry guys, I just exit stage left to get my driver. I'll just hit a couple of drives. Old JH is director, prop man, everything. Okay. Now with the hips, you can really move the hips with the driver. That's what I like about the Mow swing, guys. Every time, you know, I take a first up hit, the driver, it's always almost dead straight. Mo used to talk about the bowling alley fairways. Well, that's a bowling alley fairway. It's gone straight down, same line as the other one. Getting a bit of hip movement. They'll hip one this way. I'll really work the hips this time. And guys, this is the other thing. When you finish the swing, I see a lot of guys, and I have over the years, they get here and they finish the swing and they're here. So one thing we don't see with Mo, even though he slides, he keeps sliding and then lets this come through to finish. So you've got to try and finish here. That will indicate that you've actually taken your weight across. All right. Now I'll really get active with the hips here, and this will go much longer and stronger. That's really so straight. Well, I hit the ball straight anyway, but I mean that's silly theodolite survey type straight. Okay, last shot. Very hard to hang on to the driver. Now they may not look like there's a lot of difference, guys, but I'm really trying to work that hip and try and keep the feet down. That's just sensational for JH. Okay guys, that's just a little snippet. Just try that. Don't get too bound up with trying to keep this too straight, because unless you've got Mo's capability here, very hard to do that and get any power. I know a lot of guys in the early days when I was teaching, I say, yeah, I can hit it straight, JH, but can't hit it anywhere. And it was only after talking to Mo, after he sort of started to apply that De La Torre type rotation, that I got back in touch with a lot of the guys and said, look, just try rotating your hips a little bit. And they all had success. But just another little snippet, guys. Try that, see how you go, and in the course of the next month I've got another 3 or 4 really good little bits of information that I'll keep the Mo Mechanics story alive.